Set up a DP80 camera in Cellsens version 2.1. DP80 is a dual chip CCD camera, so it has two chips. One is for monochrome, one is for color. In the device list, when you set up the Cellsens, you can choose the camera with the DP80 and choose a port where it should be either on the side port or on the top if you have a trinocular head mounted on your microscope. Once you get it set, you should be able to see the camera control panel here. It's very similar to the IX83 camera, just missing out a couple of features unique to the other camera and add on something that's unique to this camera. If you go on to live this mode, we click on the bright field, it's transmit the light, we do automatic, just push it up a little bit, and we change the filter cube to free position, so it's actually reflect. We bring the sample in focus. As you can see, the color is not quite right. So we can do a white balance. First, you choose the region where you think it is white. So if I choose this region, I think it's white. Use this drop pen and draw a region here. And the camera will automatically do a white balance for you. You can see now it's white and the color is more real to reflect what's the sample color. The autofocus we covered in the IX83 camera training. Pretty much the same is here, which is all the icons you can choose to adjust the parameters, like the display or the bit depths. One thing to pay attention here for the acquisition setting, if you open it under camera, there's a couple of settings you can play with to set up your DP80 camera. First, for the bit depth, you have options for 8 or 14 bit for the grayscales, or 8 to 12 bit for the RGB color, and you can choose your color space. For adjustment, you can choose the default, or you can choose to give you a better contrast, which is you actually can choose the contrast at here as well. You can choose either low, medium, or high contrast. As you choose high contrast, if you do auto exposure, it give you a bit of better contrast. And sensitivity is the traditional ISO value here. You can choose ISO 20 or higher ISO is higher sensitive, but it will introduce noise. We go back to the acquisition setting here. Under the camera, you can see the color and informations here. And for the adjustment, you can tick this one for the color and the grayscale centering, and you will notice the resolution will be reduced a little bit. So how does it work? So DP80 have two chips, so the two chips is pretty much aligned but not 100%. When you do the color and the grayscale centering, you basically merge two images centered together and crop the rest of it. Once you get that one set up, you can either change the color or grayscale mode by clicking on this button. One good thing about DP80 is you can integrate this setting into the observation method, which means when you place observation method in your process manager to do imaging, automatically choose either use color or use monochrome chips to do the imaging. This is the image averaging. If you take snapshot and give a number, it will average your image, which is produce a better or a smoother image. If you drag down here, that's pretty much all the settings we can play with. Enable HDR, it's the same meaning as HDR in your iPhone when you take HDR, high dynamic range pictures. You can use it, once you get the one ticked, you can see the snap icon here changes to HDR. If you take a HDR image, it will be very colorful. Some people may like it. It depends on your application, really. You can try it out for your samples. But you do need to untick it when you do fluorescent image, you almost never use HDR for fluorescent image. I'll show you how to set up the DP80 in the observation method. Just click here, and under bright field, you can see we choose DP80, and in the status you choose use, and here you can pick for bright field I want to use color 12 bit, and I want exposure composition 0. So this setting will be integrated into this observation method. Once you got that one set, if you click on this, you can see the DP80 use color function as a color camera when you do bright field image. But if you do GFP, which is already set it with the monochrome, you can see the icon changed. It will use the monochrome chips when it comes to the fluorescent imaging.